Senator Taylor. Senator Taylor? Chair lays out House Bill 1769 and recognizes sponsor Senator Taylor to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, members. House Bill 1769 has to do with a statewide alert system for missing adults. Since the establishment of the Amber Alert, the state has expanded its alert system to include seniors, law enforcement officers, and persons with intellectual disabilities. These alerts have proven to be successful, yet there is no system in place for missing or endangered adults between the ages of 18 and 65. Texas adults, and especially women, face the threat of violent crime but lack the support of an alert system like Amber. House Bill 1769 creates a real-time alert system for missing adults and will help save lives. Just a little bit of additional information. The adult must be missing for less than 72 hours, and they must be in imminent danger of injury or death or appear to have been abducted or kidnapped. To trigger an alert, there must be information regarding the person suspected of abducting or kidnapping the adult or a vehicle that is being used in the abduction or kidnapping. We do allow DPS to modify the criteria for proper implementation, and these alerts would be sent to the appropriate law agency, TxDOT, Texas Lottery Commission, and Independent Bakers Association, which is currently done now. The bill also requires DPS to send the alert to designated media outlets and participating radio and TV stations. DPS would determine which cases merit alerts and which cases have too many unknowns to be broadcast to achieve results. And DPS also determines the duration of the alerts. There's no fiscal impact to the state. It includes a provision which will allow TxDOT to not participate in the alert if it would jeopardize any federal funding. And Section 2 of the bill requires DPS to conduct a study on the effectiveness of the statewide alert system to determine whether the alert system fulfills the purpose for which it was created. And that study would be due December 31st of 2020.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions, Senator Taylor? If not, we'll open it up for public testimony on House Bill 1769. I do have one who would like to come up and testify. It's Allison Steele. And while she's coming up, as a resource, we'll have Dale Advent, Texas DPS, and Michael Lee with TxDOT. Like written testimony in favor of the bill, Linda Fain, Texas Council of Family Violence. Also registering is Chet Kaiser, Texas Associations Against Sexual Assault for the bill, Lawrence Balin for, Greg Hance, National Alliance Mental Illness for the bill, and James Grace Jr., Houston Area Women's Center for the bill. Allison, please state your name.
Good morning. My name is Allison Steele. I'm representing myself, and I am in favor of House Bill 1769. I am the constituent who brought this issue to my representative, Dr. Greg Bonin, and also to Senator Taylor. I'm also the mother of 19-year-old murder victim Kaylee Mandati. There's a handout being distributed. The last two pages are some written testimony from Harris County District Attorney and a victim's advocate representing 3 nonprofits. The first page of the handout contains a statement on the need for House Bill 1769 and a list of the 15 nonprofit and law enforcement institutions and groups that stand with us today in public support of this bill. By this point, of course, our supporters also include hundreds, if not thousands, of private individuals. The second page of the handout contains a visual narrative of my daughter's case, basically showing the point at which the alleged crimes against her originated and the approximate point where events concluded and resulting in her death, that being east of San Antonio. Witness affidavits indicate the situation was reported to the local police. Evidence suggests that my daughter was driven past at least a dozen TxDOT DMSs, but she was 14 months too old to be considered for an Amber Alert. So she was allegedly transported by a known suspect, known vehicle, known location, and a known time, but there was no way to locate her before it was too late. Rather than repeating some of my earlier House testimony, I'd like to focus on a key question raised by multiple stakeholders during this legislative process, and that's the issue of what impact an adult alert might have on the effectiveness of the existing alert framework. Beth Alberts, the CEO of Texas Center for the Missing, and a longtime Amber Alert coordinator for the 14-county area surrounding Houston, said it best, I think, when she told the news media, "I've always been very protective of the Amber Alert program. I don't want anything to water it down. I don't want the Amber Alert to have to compete." The more we talked, the more I learned about this story. I realized it's a fairly narrow scope of program to possibly save the lives of endangered young adults. Ms. Alberts was referring to the research that I had done on what the possible impact of this bill might be. To make a very long story short, if you'd like the details, please question me later, but my estimate is less than half a dozen additional alerts per year. That's not going to overwhelm or degrade the system. Much of the bill's value derives from deterrence rather than crime interdiction, and on the first page of the handout you'll see a very telling statement, pull quote, "Suspect saw the alert and turned himself in." The criminals know how effective this system is. When they see an alert or hear about it, they basically just stand down. So bottom line on this bill, it's expected to result in lives saved, crimes deterred, little if any costs incurred, no anticipated erosion of the existing system's effectiveness, plus savings for the taxpayer and private individuals through crime deterrence. Thank you, and I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Yeah, Representative Bonin is here. Yeah, he's been here almost all morning, so we appreciate you having you over here. Is there any questions of this witness? I think we're in good shape here. Thank you very much for this concept and for taking the time. We appreciate you being here today.
Thank you so much.
Anyone else like to testify on for or against House Bill 1769? If not, we'll close public testimony and leave the bill pending.